Hi, Community Church. This is Sue from the office again. It's Wednesday. Golden years start this morning at 11:30. I hope everyone gets to join us. The Brotherhood will be there. Gospel singers. I'm looking forward to hearing some good old-fashioned gospel music. Today I'm going to do, since we are in November, like I said before, we're going to do some thankful things, that we're thankful for, and some songs that are thankful. Today we're going to do Now Thank We All Our God. I'm sure you all remember this, know this one. But where did it start? How did it start? First off, I have to thank Susie Lawton for this book, and it's called Hymns of Faith and Inspiration, and it's pretty cool. It helps me study some of these songs. So let's talk a little bit about where this came from. We know that thankfulness is something that God wants us to always be. Be thankful with a grateful heart. So this one here is about faith under fire. Faith under fire. The lovely words of praise and faith found in this hymn would lead us to believe that we forged into a time of great victory, doesn't it? In reality, the opposite is true. Martin Ringart, a Lutheran minister in Ellenberg, Germany, wrote this uplifting hymn in the midst of the country's darkest moments. Now, isn't this kind of interesting that all our songs that we've been thinking about thankfulness and how we have to be grateful, all came about because of a situation that wasn't good? I think God is pretty cool about that. After his childhood, he spent in the home of his father, a poor coppersmith. Martin Ringart found an outlet for his skill as a singer and composed a choir in the well-known St. Thomas Church of Liechtenstein, Germany. While there, he worked his way through the university until he attained his degree and was ordained at the age of 31 as a minister in the Lutheran Church. The year was 1617. And the religious turmoil at that time was born, and the Protestant Reformation was seeping across the European continent. Wars broke out, and for the next 30 years would rage through Germany's cities and the countrysides. 30 years. Upon his ordination, Reverend Martin Ringart was assigned as a minister to his hometown of Ellenberg, a walled city. Ellenberg was looked upon as a place of refuge and safety for thousands of refugees fleeing the attacks of the oncoming armies during the 30-year war. Overcrowded and undersupplied with food, sanitary facilities, medical care, the walled city became instead a city of death. Instead of protection, plagues raged through the crowded streets and homes and claimed many victims. All during these 3 decades of devastation, Ringart was a model to his weak and weary parishioners. He faithfully tended to them, encouraged them, and even entertained them with plays depicting different aspects of the Protestant Reformation. In the midst of their constant pain and suffering, he composed over 60 hymns of faith and hope, turning the eyes of his people from their own despair to the power of love of God. He encouraged them to see their circumstances were only temporary, while God's blessing was eternally, transcending earth's difficulties. It was confidence that Ringart to continue his ministry to the sick and dying of Ellenberg. Even though the terrible plague of 1637, the other pastors died or fled, and Ringart was left alone to bury close to 4,500 men, women, and children, sometimes conducting up to 45 funerals a day. During this sad and depressing time, he even buried his own beloved wife. As the years of war drew to a close, several armies overran the walled city, exacting services and tributes from the impoverished population. At one point, the Swedish army occupied Ellenberg, and the general demand of the citizens pay a large sum of money in tribute. On behalf of Ellenberg's townspeople, Reverend Wincart spoke to the general, begging for a reduction, since there was no way the levy could have been paid. The general was angry and unmoved by his pleas. Facing possible death, Wincart turned to his assembly companions and instructed to kneel with the following injunction: "Come, my children, we can find no mercy with man. Let us take refuge with God." He then led them in prayer and singing of some familiar hymns. Stunned, the Swedish general watched the dramatic demonstration of faith and courage in silence. When Wincart rose from his knees, the general inspected that the levy be reduced, and he spared the city of any further troubles. It was out of faith in God's providence, despite the difficulties, that Martin Wincart drew the beliefs expressed in his beloved hymn, "Now thank we all our God." He learned, like the Apostle Paul, that nothing in life or death can separate us from the love of God he found through Jesus Christ. I thought that it's pretty fascinating that Jesus and God works together when everything is down and out. And in our own despair, we have to turn towards God. We have to focus on him. We have to keep God as our center. He has to be the leader of our homes. He has to be the leader of our families. He's got to be head of household. He's got to be number one no matter what. People get mad at me when I did marriages, and I said, the number one person you need is who? Who do you respect more? And the future wife would say, I expect my husband. Well, there's somebody above your husband. And she said, how can you be above my husband? I said, because if God is not in charge of your home and you do not come to him, then there is no faith, nothing built on a rock. The rock of Jesus, the rock of God. And we need to build that. And we need to keep that firm foundation strong. And even during we read these couple of songs of being thankful, it all came out of something being very sad and negative. Sometimes in our life, when we turn our eyes away from God, things just don't go away. But when we fix our eyes on God and on Jesus, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but there's a peace and a comfort that just comes with unbelievable feeling. And Martin felt that, and he knew that, and he led many, many men and women and children to come to know Christ and to know God. I'm sure when he walked into heaven, God welcomed him with open arms and said, well done, faithful servant. So if you're struggling in despair or anything, sometimes we have to put our faith under fire, or even our faith over fear. I was talking to a couple people today about that, about how we have to put our faith, no matter how bad the circumstances. And that is the hardest part, because a lot of people have a problem with that. But if you do that, if you put your faith first, you will feel this peace beyond understanding. And like he said, nothing in this world, because we're only here for a short time. You know, when people say, well, I'm 88 and 104 or 100, it's still a short time compared to eternity. So this is just something we have to deal with right now. But nothing we do in this life or death will ever separate us from the love of God that we find through Jesus Christ. So remember that you are loved by the man who makes heaven and earth, the stars, the sun, and the moon, that we have to keep our faith and our eyes fixed and focused on him. As always, please, if you need prayer, give us a call or just text us or respond to the video, wherever you want to do. We're more than happy to come and pray with you and be with you and talk with you with any situation. Do not be afraid to come to us, because what you say stays with us. I pray that you have faith over fear every day, and I pray that we get through this cold weather. I have to laugh because it's snowing back home. So, but I will take this little cold weather after that nice warm summer we had. So join us today, Wednesday, Golden Years, 11:30. The Brotherhood would be there. We're having some ham, some scalloped potatoes. I don't know what else. I'm sure we'll have something good. It's always good. So please join us. I probably won't be doing a devotional next week. My son and daughter-in-law from Denver will be here. So I'm going to spend as much time with them as I can. So I will miss you, and I pray that you have a great Thanksgiving, and that when you sit together, whether it's with 1 or 2 or 3 or 20, that you are thankful for whatever God has put you in. Keep that faith over fear at all times, and stay focused and fix your eyes on Jesus Christ. Until we meet again, my friends, may Jesus hold you in the palm of his hands.